Hello, and welcome to Coaching Corner with me, Tracy Forsyth. And, today I'm going to talk about that expression, silence is golden. Silence is golden. And we've probably all heard that expression, probably when we were little, probably from a teacher or a parent, and probably when either or both wanted a little peace and quiet. But I found out that the actual full saying is speech is silver, silence is golden. And on further research, I found there's an Aramaic proverb, if a word be worth 1 shekel, silence is worth 2. So listen, versions have been around apparently since about the 11th century, and I'm sure they probably existed long before that. So it's been around a long time around the globe. And although I only remember it as something used by a teacher to get my classroom to quieten down, I think there are ways that it's absolutely golden when it comes to leadership and life. So how? So firstly, I think silence is a brilliant listening tool. Most people are on broadcast mode when they're talking to others, especially leaders because there's that need to inform, to bring up to speed, to task people with actions. Many people in a conversation are waiting for their turn to speak, or interrupting others because they're in a hurry to download what they want to say or move on because there's a busy agenda. So I think using silence within a conversation allows the other person to talk, to explain, to inform you without interruption. It just allows that space for important things to emerge rather than being shut down or just not given air. So listening, I think, is a golden leadership skill, listening to understand rather than just to respond. So secondly, silence is actually a very powerful question. If you're in a conversation with someone, maybe about solving a problem, coming up with suggestions, then try using silence and see what happens. Often, it just creates that space for thinking and processing time rather than jumping to immediate conclusions, or for that person to look to you for the answers. I know many people are uncomfortable with silence, but I really urge you to try it. As a coach, silence is definitely classed as a powerful question. And when you use it, you can see people thinking and the cogs in their minds turning. We don't often pause and process and have the luxury of time to work things out. So using silence in a conversation gives us that space in pocket form, and it allows insight and the unknown known to surface. So third, I actually think silence is a brilliant tool when used in public speaking or presentations. So lots of leaders fear having to give presentations or public speaking. And so I know that sort of saying silence is a powerful tool in those two things sounds counterintuitive, but I think pausing and allowing silence when you're giving presentations is really powerful. When you want to land a point, say it and then pause and allow a few seconds of silence. Why? Because it allows people to digest what you've said, to process it and mull it over. We're so busy these days, and there's so much information all the time going into our brain that it becomes overwhelming. And if you think about a busy board, looking at a heap of board papers and hearing business case after business case, it's a lot to take in. So pausing and allowing silence when giving your presentation to the board allows them the space to think and formulate any questions or an opinion. So lastly, I'm going to talk about how I think silence is golden for the well-being of leaders. Pausing, breathing, sitting in silence with no distractions is essentially a form of meditation. And how often do we do it? How often are we away either from the laptop or the phone or in conversation with somebody or busy doing something? So can you just sit in silence for 5 minutes? If you don't know, then try it and find out. Put your phone on a timer, put it down and see what it's like. So I'm going to finish with another proverb I found on silence. And apparently this one's from Africa. And it goes, Silence is the best answer to the unwise. Silence is the best answer to the unwise. So what do you think of that one? I will see you next week. Take care.